guys, Joe here from XFoxGames. Check it out. We got Nerf's Elite FlipShots. This is the Flip-16. If you guys remember, we just did a review on the Flip-8, and they do have, of course, the Flip-32, which as of right now is not currently out. So when that comes out, yeah, we'll probably pick that up too. And, you know, before I even ordered this, I was like, man, wouldn't it be great if, you know, it shot 2 at once and it did all this? And I didn't know this can shoot technically 2 at once, which we'll show you here in a little bit. So let's just hop right in. Let's take a quick look at the box. I mean, pretty cool box. When I look at it, I'm like, okay, I mean, how do they fit it in there? I'm like, this is kind of strange. Like, but still, the front of the box got that new kind of greenish, which is, again, it's the kind of staple of the FlipShot line, or FlipShots line, which is kind of cool. And if we take a look at the actual blaster, first I'll put it up here. It's a big blaster. I mean, it is almost as long as the Pharaoh. This thing is big, and it's pretty heavy. I'll give you that. It hurts my wrist to kind of hold it, you know, for a long period of time like this. But still, a very, very big blaster, unless you kind of collapse it down on the collapsible stock, which I think is kind of cool. Now, if we take a look at the contents inside the box, it comes as a few different parts. You got both the FlipShots on the side, and then of course you got the kind of the screw-in cocking mechanism there. So I was like, all right, you know. And it took me a little while to make sure I got it right, because, I mean, I think I had it right, but then I was like, this just doesn't seem right when I was like messing around with it, because these weren't flipping right. They're all kind of cockeyed. But if you look at the instructions on each side of the kind of the parts that have the darts in it, the flip part, there is a square and then there is a triangle. And then on each of the sides of the blaster has a square and triangle where it tells you to, you know, where to actually put them. It would have saved me about 4 or 5 minutes if those were to come already done, right? It would have been so much more easier. So just kind of keep that in mind, that read the instructions. Don't be like me and just try to slap the thing together. Putting in the handle is pretty easy. It's just a screw-in type, which is awesome. I never like the type that are once they're in, they're there. So it is a screw-in type across and a screw-in type for the other angle. So not too bad. If we take a look at the blaster up close, I mean, look at that thing. Woo! Again, it's a long blaster. You can see they have this kind of like almost like a target with the circles that represent the flip kind of engraving on the side. And it has, again, that kind of greenish kind of color scheme in it, which I think is kind of cool. Now, on this too, the biggest thing up here is the front, right? This whole front mechanism that I want to talk about first. And the thing about this is, you know, it makes the front of this blaster really, really heavy. So if you are not holding it like this, it's going to get uncomfortable real quick. I mean, this has a substantial amount of weight up here. I mean, just holding it, like I said, I could feel it in my wrist, and I don't know if I'd want to run around with this thing all day. It would be super uncomfortable. But this whole mechanism is, you know, kind of flips just like the Flip-8. So check it out. So you pull it back, it flips, and then you actually have to push it forward. It was very similar to the Flip-8, where I wasn't quite sure. I was like, okay, when you pull it back, you know, oh, you can't shoot, right? You had to push it forward, and then it would let you shoot. So on the Flip-16, it's kind of the same way. You can pull it back to flip it, then you have to push this forward, then you have to prime it, right? And then go. So if you watch this, look at now, if you listen closely, it's shot 2. Now, this has kind of a dual stage trigger. So about a half pull fires the first dart on the left-hand side, so over here, and then the full pull fires the other dart on the right-hand side. You could technically pull it at the same time. If we go like this, and they both come out. Or you could shoot one, wait, and then shoot the other. So I thought that was super cool when I first shot it. I was like, wait, whoa, what? I was like, that is freaking awesome. But still, again, for me to get used to having to pull it back, thinking, okay, when it's pulled back, then I could go and fire, but no. See, look. Won't let you fire. You have to push it forward. Then it'll let you actually shoot. So, I don't know. It just took me a second to kind of get used to that firing mechanism. Now, the back stock, I think, is pretty cool. It's kind of a dual collapsing stock. It first collapses, of course, full length, right? Or you can collapse the back kind of butt plate first, or just do it vice versa. But I think that's kind of cool. Now, it does act as a double, I don't know, a double sight. So when it's collapsed, I don't know if you guys can kind of see that there. You do have this sight integrated into this, which is kind of cool in case you want to look down. But again, it's very, very front heavy. I think when some of you guys get this, you'll be like, okay, I see what XFox is talking about. It has so much weight in this upper front area that I will always primarily use it with the buttstock out, just to give me a little bit of support. Let's take a quick look at me shooting this thing. I know that's, again, what you guys always want to see on here. So you can see, out of the gate, when I was first shooting this, it was actually shooting pretty decent, right? I was trying to shoot doubles, trying to shoot singles, just trying to get the feel for the blaster. And it was coming in at about 65-ish FPS, which is about what I expect for this particular line. So 60 to 65 is nothing, too crazy. And both darts shot about 65. It wasn't a 65 for one, and the other one was 30. It was around 65-ish for each dart being shot. I really liked the dual shooting. Shooting 2 at once and having technically 4 shots on each side if you want to do the dual shot, I thought was awesome. Now, one of the things that I ran into with this, and I think other people are going to have the same, is sometimes when I rotated the wheels, they fully didn't rotate right. Like, sometimes they'd be a little crooked. I had to fix it. I'm like, ugh. Not all the time, but then other times, too, when I cocked this thing back, it would only cock the one side. So when I'd bring it forward, it would shoot the other dart out of the other side. And I'm like, what is going on with this thing? So I noticed that I had to pull really like both sides of the blaster. It was very hard for me to cock just one side of this. You actually had to cock it and make sure that that cocking rod was all the way level. So you'll notice when you pull back one side, it kind of angles it. So the other side, or vice versa, doesn't get primed. And that was driving me crazy. I have 2 kind of shooting videos there. One where everything shot great, and the other one where it was kind of acting funny, where I would cock it, and since the cocking rod, you could feel it kind of be flimsy in there, would not cock the other side. You had to physically grab it on both hands and kind of go. So I'm guessing somebody needs to go in there and redo or 3D print something so it's a little more stiff. So again, you could see me shooting there. It's cool. It is cool when it shoots too. I'm going to give you that. I love shooting multiple darts at once like that. I think it's awesome. Just look at that. Oh my gosh. Now, this is what I'm talking about, guys. So look, when I pull this down, you see how this kind of angles? You see how it kind of angles like up like this? So what happens is the other side, when you're just pulling one, see, that didn't do it, but if I pull both of them, there we go, you can hear it actually shoot. And I know when I'm firing this, I'm not, I mean, how am I supposed to grab both? Like this? Or like, I mean, how are you, like this? I mean, that's pretty big. So I'm usually cocking it like this or like this, right? Now that one worked great. But I noticed that sometimes when I pulled it in, again, maybe I'll tighten these in maybe just a little more. They are max, that it angled it so only one side would actually cock. So I don't know if anybody else ran into that, but I sure did. See, that did it right there. That only has one shot if you listen. It's one shot. And you could see it. I mean, look. You see how that angles right there? But if I were to grab this other side and really torque it back, now both sides get primed. So I don't know. Maybe since, it's, it's just something that I noticed. I think maybe I'll open this up and see how it is. But you could tell it is definitely flexy. You could see that. Look at this. So if you're pulling it back, again, the other side sometimes didn't get primed. I didn't notice it until maybe like 30 or 40 shots in after I've done this a few times. I was like, okay, this is starting to get real flexy now. How is this going to act after 100 shots? And you could just see it. Again, it is wobbly. And this is at max, guys. I cannot go any further here. So I don't know. Maybe, okay. The left side seems to work pretty good. But the right side seems to have a little bit of an issue. So I don't know. I'll keep my eye out there to see if anybody else has the issue like I have. But, is it a cool blaster? Yeah. Is it heavy? Yes. I like shooting 2 at a time. I like having that flip mechanism. It just took me a while to get used to, again, having to go back and be like, oh, wait, is it ready to go? Do I cock it now? Oh, no, I got to push it forward, then go fire all my shots, and when I want to flip it, go again. Again, very similar to the 8, how you had to bring it back, right, and then bring it forward and then shoot. You couldn't flip it, go, and then go. It just kind of, I was like, oh, it's too many steps, even though it's only 3. But still, cool blaster, heavy. I cannot wait until the 32 comes out because I'm kind of curious. is that going to let you do like 1, 2, 3, 4 shots? Woo! That would be awesome if you basically. But I would think of the prime on that would be really like tough. Maybe you prime it once and then prime it again, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh gosh, that would be. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this. Hopefully the 32 comes out here soon, and we can do that as a review. Thanks again, Fox fans.